Honestly, I thought I had to wait at least more than a year to see if the Sausage Party Foodtopia Season 2 was going to be coming out. But nope, I did not have to wait at all. Anyway, Sausage Party Foodtopia got a second season, and surprisingly, it's much better than the first season. So, Sausage Party Foodtopia Season 2 follows Frank, Sammy, and Barry as after Frank's way of leading Foodtopia leads him to be kicked out alongside Sammy, Barry, and Jack the Human as they go on a journey to find a new home, and they find New Foodland. And as a result, entering New Foodland and being noticed by the citizens, they soon realize that they are actually heroes of the world and essentially celebrities. So as a result, the characters basically have their own storyline after going into New Foodland. So for example, Frank, being the one who led the revolution, becomes a new member of their council. Sammy furthers his showbiz by making his own movie retelling the story of how Frank saved the world and food kind. And Barry, he becomes somewhat of a fighter, helping a jar of Dijon mustard, I believe, in protecting New Foodland. So this happens for a large majority, and another one is that Jack actually becomes a fight force of humans to protect New Foodland. And once they figure out what humans need for fuel, they have to find a way to stop it, as they soon find out that New Foodland is now targeting New Foodtopia. So overall, Season 2 is way better than Season 1. And I'm just going to go ahead and explain it. So overall, let's just say that Frank kind of crashed and burned, but was rebuilt over the course of the second season, mainly because of what happened with Season 1. Because going into Season 2, it seems that everyone hates his way of leadership. And even though Sammy and Barry tried to warn him about it, he did not listen, which led to his exile alongside Barry and Sammy and Jack, which led to their adventure miles away from the city and to going into New Foodland. And I gotta admit, the direction they went on is actually remarkably great. The only character that doesn't really seem to change development wise after Season 1 is definitely Sammy, because in Season 1, after losing Lavash, he becomes a comedian, and in Season 2, he's still going into the entertainment business by making a movie. With Frank, he isn't really hiding Jack anymore because that's not really important anymore. Instead, it's more of him trying to become a perfect leader among the leaders of New Foodland, while also convincing them to not take over Foodtopia. And Barry, despite still being somewhat of a fighter and a soldier, it's a different method because he also has a love interest, which is a jar of Dijon mustard. And that's about it. That's basically everyone's character arc. Oh wait, there's Jack. Okay, so Jack, he is with a team of humans who is controlled by food through their rectum. That's all you really need to know. That's all you need to know for him. He does have a love interest though, which I guess, okay, I will admit that's actually good. I do actually like that. And that's basically all you really need to know about them in terms of their story arcs. I do actually like Foodtopia Season 2 because there's more to them just focusing on politics. Instead, it's actually just developing the characters. Frank and Barry actually fight a lot in this movie, which I felt like didn't really need to happen. Like, after watching Season 1, it makes sense, but it would have made even more sense if it lasted a whole episode. This lasted almost a whole season until the penultimate episode, which is episode 7. And I gotta admit that it just did not need to happen. I will say that their development does get better, and they do become friends again. And I do actually love their scene when they're in their pumpkin, because after figuring out that they're going to attack Foodtopia, they fear that there's no real way for them to convince them to cancel the attack. So instead, they plan on leaving New Foodland to warn the people of Foodtopia. But just like Sammy in season 1, he argues with them and stays in New Foodland. But he also becomes a captive as they travel back to Foodtopia. As Frank and Barry travels by toy car to go back to Foodtopia, while also being hunted down by Dijon Mustard and riding a Humie. Also, humans in this universe is called Humies, but I do think that they are also called humans. And it's also revealed that in order for the Humies to survive, they go to abandoned areas that has food so that they can eat food. And by going to a heavily populated area of food, such as Foodtopia, that is like basically their main goal, as the council and everyone in New Foodland travels to Foodtopia in a battle to get every single member of food. So when they travel back, they are kicked out and is captured by the civilians of New Foodland and is tortured by being turned into dang it, I forgot what the dish is called. Anyway, they are smothered in oil. No, they're smothered in eggs, covered in flour, and then they are drizzled, or more specifically, Frank is the one who is drizzled by hot oil. Except he isn't, because they drizzle the hot oil in his private area, even though there's nothing there. But just like every other cartoon, the injury is taken away after the scene is already played out. And what makes this even better is that they embraced what made Sausage Party amazing and brought it in season 2 by having episode 8 be a final battle episode, even though it's not the final episode of the series. And I gotta say, it is much better than season 1. Much better than season 1. As in season 2, there's a big fight, and sadly, there is a lot of casualties. But, I wouldn't say that it's not a bad thing, because the only major death that was in season 2 was the main antagonist of season 1, which was Julius, and he was a really great character. I really thought someone was going to save him after he got his butt torn open, but nope. A human tore his butt open and sucked up all the juice, and in his perspective, well, they basically sucked his blood like a vampire, and he died from blood loss because they sucked his juice out. And I gotta also admit, I do love the dynamic that Jack has. Like, his overall development here is that because he didn't want to hurt his friends, he wanted a place to belong, and he felt like he would belong and be one with the people of Foodtopia and the people of New Foodland. But when he found out that there were other humans alive, he soon found out that there's no place for him in the world of food, only in the world of humans. So he gets back on eating food again, and it's all thanks to his love interest. And I think his most redeeming quality was that he led the humans that were basically captives for the people of New Foodland to basically escape. As they go into an RV and try to escape, Frank also tries to find a way to say he's sorry to Jack. And because... oh, there's another thing I forgot to mention. Okay, so apparently food aren't very well educated, as was shown through Frank, as he couldn't read. So there was a short storyline where the leader teaches him basically how to read, how to spell, how to basically do math. And that's basically how he basically very much finds out that they're attacking Foodtopia. So he writes a note that says he's sorry to Jack, and that's the last time they see each other. And the villain of the story, who is a nutshell, I think a walnut? Yes, she's a walnut. Yeah, she falls alongside Frank stories below, and she basically, like, her head literally splits open and you see the inside of her nut head. And not much really happens to Frank in the fall. He's actually okay. And there was a fight between Barry and Dijon, but he didn't want to fight her, but she ended up fighting him. There were a lot of stab wounds, but he was still fine. He was still okay. And she ended up actually joining Barry in saving the people of Foodtopia. overall, I did actually like the movie, and the ending once again ends the same way season one does, but this time we actually see who was responsible from the drone, and it's what's left of the Marine. No, it's what's left of a government in America, and apparently they made a device that can finally destroy all food kind. Now I have a theory, and I think it's most likely a device that takes away the sentience of food. So once they're shot by it, they're technically back to themselves. Like bath salts can't make them see you, and in both the fourth dimension and the real dimension, they're basically just inanimate objects now. If that is the device that the government made, I'm gonna be so hyped for it, because how is Frank and the others going to save themselves from a device like that? Also, because Jack was monitored, he basically becomes the most important person in the overall war between humans and food, which makes me want to see season 3 of Sausage Party even more. But seeing as to how it took a whole year for season 2 to come in, it doesn't seem like we have to wait that long for season 3 to come. All we have to do is wait another whole year, because season 2 already came out. Overall, I enjoyed Sausage Party Foodtopia season 2. It was definitely an improvement of season 1. Now, if I had to put season 1 against season 2, season 2 wins. If I had to put it against the movie and season 2, that is actually hard, as I enjoy both of them decently. But honestly, I think I'd choose the movie this time, because like I said, I still like the movie. It's much better. So that's my answer. So here's the rating. I'm going to give the story a 9 out of 10, because there were some things that I hated about this season. One of them being that it was super easy to kick Frank and the others out of Foodtopia, and the fact that Frank apparently can't read, despite officially being one of the most smartest characters in the franchise. And Barry and Frank basically had a fight, even though they were best friends. Season 1 made it messy, but season 2 made it messier, but fixed it at the same time. I don't know how that is even possible, but it is. And that's basically the rating. So for the whole show, season 2, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10, because overall there were some problems, but just like from before, those problems can be pushed away and I can enjoy them relatively well. So there's my answer.